Welcome back to Symax Fintech weekly report. This is part 2, which covers technical analysis. And let's just go through a few charts, just to hopefully give you a bit of insight in, what I'm seeing to help you for the week ahead. Of course, here's a disclaimer that trading involves a loss of risk of capital, not suitable for everyone. Of course, we hope it is for you. And as many companies provide leverage, you can lose substantially more than your initial investment. Everything we're doing here is just really just trying to give you some education on trading, some insight into what's going on. And it does not constitute investment advice or a solicitation for you to trade or invest. That has to be your decision. And of course, you should carefully consider the risks, your financial situation, your level of experience, risk appetite, and of course, you should only risk capital you are prepared, but more importantly, can afford to lose. Any doubts whatsoever, seek financial independent advice, and do that please before you start to risk your capital. Here's the Dow Daily. So on here, I've just added sort of what I can see as a way of a couple of resistance lines and a support line. And you can see the second resistance line, the lower one, is quite an aggressively steep down slope at the moment. So again, let's just see where the markets open Sunday evening, Monday morning, and where Europe's going to take them before the US come in. But they've had a slightly stronger close on Friday, so let's just see if that can continue or whether the sellers are going to reappear. Now we start the new week. This is the 30-minute. It's got the pivot points on there. Again, there's resistance levels and a support level. And then it's just moving into a very tight range where I'm expecting a breakout very soon, as you can see from the very tight support and resistance levels I've added on to that as well in the center. The S&P daily, again, support and resistance, so I've added those in, sort of moved slightly higher, as I said, towards the end of Friday. Let's just see where it opens. It may come back down to test the support again. It just depends if the sellers are going to reappear. And this is the 30-minute again with the pivots. Just remember these pivots that are on here are Friday's pivots. The new ones will be produced this evening, this Sunday evening, Monday morning. And so I've got a support and a resistance line on there along. So you can see how the pivots are performing. Whether they're holding, whether they're not. So you've got some historical data on there where you can see them, and how to perhaps trade them if you're not sure how to do that. Just by looking, give you a little bit of information. So the Nasdaq Daily again. On the daily, I've added a support and resistance. They're quite wide at the moment. Stocks are a little bit unpredictable at the moment. I have to be careful what I say, but just be careful about trying to buy the dips at the moment. I would say, as you can see, yeah, sure, we do get those odd rallies, but the trend has been sort of lower. This is the 30-minute. Again, support and resistance, they're the black lines, and then all the pivot points are on there as well. Some weeks, some days they work better than others. And obviously we put the pivot points on based on the 30-minute chart, just so you're aware of that. This is the Russell 2000 daily. Again, sort of got that trend there. This one sort of, rather than sort of having a sort of horizontal resistance line, I've managed to find one that's just got a slight down slope to it. So again, it's just showing a slight downtrend. And I've put on there the Fibonacci as well. So it's touched the 50 a couple of times. It hasn't got to the golden ratio, which is 618 yet. But again, let's just keep an eye on the stocks this week. And this is the Russell 30-minute. Again on here, pivot points as usual. You find that pretty much on all my 30-minute charts. And here we're actually seeing a bit of an uptrend at the moment. So we've seen a recovery in that. So let's just see if that can continue. Would be strange because it's going to contradict potentially what some of the others are doing. So yeah, a little bit of a surprise on the Russell. But again, you know, you've got to remember that the Russell is sort of small cap and mid cap stocks, not the big boys. Although saying that, it's the big boys that have really been impacted recently with the sell-off. Again, just another few currencies here. So this is the pound against the dollar, really under pressure. Managed a very, very slight recovery on Friday, but nothing really. It's just a little bit of profit taking on the dollar. You know, there's still problems in the UK, economic problems. And, you know, I don't see those going away anytime soon. I'm based in the UK, just so it gives you a little bit of an understanding that, you know, I'm talking from experience there rather than just guessing. Support line, so, you know, that's going back quite a bit, that support line. You know, it did pop through, obviously. It did go lower when COVID first hit. And, you know, it's going to test this level possibly next week. Not the lowest level. I mean, it could get there, but again, that's going to take quite a dramatic sell-off. I wouldn't expect to see that yet. But, you know, sort of 120, 122, it's finding a little bit of support at the moment, just sort of, you see that sort of arch almost where it's been rallied and it's sold off from. So it's going to be an interesting week for currencies, I think. This is the 30-minute. So again, I've got another support line on there. There's that resistance line above, and of course the pivot points as usual. Yes, the euro. So the euro is still under pressure. It's struggling to bounce, you know, and unless they look as though they're going to put rates up and be a little bit more proactive against inflation, you know, it's going to be an uphill battle against the dollar for sure, especially how aggressive everyone's expecting the Fed to be with these rate hikes. Here's the 30-minute. So we came back up to test the pivot point on Friday, just at the close of the day. Again, I've added support and resistance on there. It's a slight downward channel. Bitcoin daily. Bitcoin had a very traumatic week last week, as did all the cryptos, just obviously with what's going on with some of the stable coins. And that took sort of the crypto, Bitcoin rather, down to sort of about 25.5. It was actually perfect for the, well, pretty much perfect. It called $100, $200 for Bitcoin. Too much. Then yeah, it sort of found that S2 last Thursday, Friday. We'll see that on the next chart. But it's also, it almost got close to filling that gap that you can see on the far left-hand side. And I've sort of marked that roughly where it is, give or take a little bit. You know, again, it depends how you do your gaps. Do you do them from the tops of the wicks to the bottoms of the wicks, or do you do them from the close to the open, or the open to the close? You know, something to think about, really. For me, I would say opens and closes are most important, not the wicks. But a lot of people use the wicks. So here's the 30-minute. There's the sell-off on Thursday that I mentioned. It came down, it just popped through S2, but then had a really nice recovery. So it went down to about 25,500 and then all the way back up to 30,000. It managed to sort of stabilize over Friday. It tested S1, couldn't hold it. And, you know, I've drawn on there. Again, we're coming into a tight range. You know, I'm expecting a breakout Monday or Tuesday on Bitcoin. Probably a little bit 50-50 which way it's going to go at the moment, though. As I've sort of put in from time to time, so this is Bitcoin against Nasdaq. on the daily. So it's just, again, just to give you that little bit of insight. I mean, even sort of towards the end of last week when Bitcoin had that crash, I mean, the stocks were coming off anyway. Towards the end of Thursday and on Friday, Bitcoin recovered, as did the stock. So there's still that sort of fairly close relationship. Just remember, it's not going to be pip for pip or tick for tick. It's just a general over the day, the direction of it, the trend of it as such. Just moving on to gold. So again, starting with the daily as I tend to. I've identified some resistance levels there and also a couple of support levels. This is the 30-minute. So on the 30-minute here, again, it was sort of hugging that sort of S1 for a lot of the day on Friday. Once it's sort of sold off in the afternoon, and of course, it stayed under pressure on Friday, sort of dipping below the 1800s. It did bounce back a bit, but it's testing at the moment. Again, I've got my own views, but I prefer not to express them on here at the moment for you guys. Just so you don't think it's advice or anything. Feel free to reach out to me, and I'm happy to sort of just have a discussion with you. But it is under pressure. But if stocks keep going down, then if those haven trades come in, we could see a little bit of buying coming into gold. And finally, oil. So this is WTI. It had a good rally last week. It's sort of stabilized, and fundamentally it's quite strong. I've got quite a nice sort of resistance line in there, so it's going to be interesting to see where it opens based on that line. And I've got a sort of an uptrend support lower down as well. And then the 30-minute. So again, with the pivots on there, you see it rallied up and it sort of closed in the second half of the session just on S2. It's just sort of R2 resistance. So it's sort of hugging that, and there I've got a sort of quite a nice channel, sort of an uptrend channel there. So let's see where that opens on Monday. So thanks very much. Hope you've enjoyed the analysis and hope to see you next week. Have a great week and good luck with your trading. There's a couple of other slides just to cover. Next slide is just obviously the same as usual for you guys. So I hope you enjoyed that. I'd love to sort of go into bigger detail and all that, but I have to be careful not to be considered advice to you guys. Of course, reach out. Happy to help you as much as possible. Our daily newsletter does include chart levels, pivot points, my views, and of course, as I mention all the time, we do provide daily workshops, 1-week courses, extended masterclasses, trader mentoring, consulting. We do provide trader education content to exchanges and brokers as well. And if you'd like to contact us, there's our details below. If you want to check out the courses and a bit more about Symax Fintech, feel free. There is the calendar for that. And of course, once again, thank you very much for joining us for this. Have a wonderful week. Have a great week. And hopefully you'll catch up with us again at the end of next week. Thanks very much. You take care. Bye. Good luck.